Greetings, Wrestle Buddies, and welcome to the weekly Smackdown recap with me, Nick the Geek. Right, let's just get straight into the show. Not a bad show this week. Not 5 out of 5 stars, but well worth watching. Very entertaining. Good wrestling this week. Starts off strange with the first match, Braun and Brutes versus the New Bloodline, Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. Well, I say it starts off that. It starts off with the entrances of the Brawling Brutes. Then we go to a recap of Sheamus's beatdown from last week, where the Brutes Pillmanized his arm and have put him out. The real reason Sheamus is out, of course, we know he's getting married. Congratulations to Sheamus. I'm glad to see him back soon because he was building a lot of momentum, especially with his work against Gunther. We then go to a Bloodline segment backstage where Sami Zayn is basically saying that Jey Uso needs to bring the same energy he brought the other week when he helped him win. Can he do this? We need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck. And by the way, Roman will be here later on. So it's confirmed Roman Reigns is going to be in there. Hello, David. Hello, Brandon. Good to see you. Maybe the place. Yeah, okay, so it comes out and it's Solo and Sami. This is a very hot start to this match. A lot of early tags from Solo and Sami. Brutes took over for a while. Then it came to a spot on the outside where Butch had been taken over for quite some time. He hit this wonderful flying knee to the outside. It was fantastically executed. Really well done by Pete Dunne. And then, of course, the numbers game got involved with Solo and everyone took over. We then went to break. We came back from break. Ridge got the hot tag. Very Ultimate Warrior-esque hot tag from Ridge Holland. Lots of shoulder blocks and flying shoulder blocks, followed by heavy clotheslines in the corner. Made me chuckle because I haven't seen that offense since, the very early 90s. So that was quite good. You could say it was also a bit like John Cena-esque, but what are you going to do? Yeah, of course. This started now. At one point, after the flying knee, Pete gets Sami back in the ring. He's got Sami down on the ground. Sami knows he's coming. So Sami's lying there and He's waiting for Pete to jump down on him. It was a very clever strategy. I thought, this is going to be quite funny. And then Jey Uso just grabs Sami's ankle and pulls him out of the ring. And he continues to go, I've got your back, Sami. I thought we were on the same page. I've got your back. Sami's like, Jesus Christ, don't help like that. Help like Jimmy. Because earlier on in the match, Jimmy had smacked Butch in the face. Then Sami goes back in the ring, gets rolled up by Pete Dunne. 1, 2, 3, Brawling Brutes beat Bloodline. There we go. This then immediately leads into Roman Reigns' entrance. The Bloodline are all arguing like children in the ring. Jey and Jimmy eventually go square off because Jimmy's had enough of Jey's attitude. Roman comes out, takes about 8-9 minutes for his entrance. We had another advert break. As Roman comes out, he basically turns around, does his shtick of acknowledge me, and gets the whole crowd, who are very hot to see Roman, by the way. Very, very hot to see Roman. It was good to see. The whole crowd starts getting involved, and then Roman does his whole acknowledge me shtick, grabs the mic up, Paul Heyman, and basically says, look, I wouldn't normally do this. I like to air my grievances backstage where no one can see us, but this needs to be handled right now. You two, sort your shit out, or I'm going to do it for you. So Sami starts to talk, starts to explain he doesn't understand why Jey hates him so much. He likes him. I think you're cool, Jey. I just don't think you've been very oozy of late, which made Roman chuckle and he nearly broke character. Then Sami goes to shake Jey's hand. He's like, shake my hand. Tribal Chief says, we've got to make peace. Shake my hand. Jey then grabs the microphone, goes off in a tirade saying how much he hates Sami and he's not part of the family. Why the hell is he wearing a t-shirt with Uso when he's not blood? He can't be in the bloodline if you're not blood. And then Sami again's like, the Tribal Chief says we got this, and Jey makes the mistake of going, I don't give a damn what the Tribal Chief says. Roman gets exceedingly pissed off. Sami comes over, says it's just because he's not feeling very oozy, which makes Roman laugh. Then Roman continues to do it. Jey almost broke down 3 times during this segment. Every time somebody said oozy, it was really funny. He was watching him try and keep a straight face. This eventually, that was it. And Roman basically said if Jey doesn't sort his shit out, then he's going to make Sami a full Uso. He's going to change his name to Sami Uso and see how Jey likes that. Which I thought was a fantastic segment. I love this bloodline story with Sami Zayn. There's so many layers to it, and it's it's gone on for so long, but it still seems fresh, and that is so hard to do in pro wrestling, to keep something this fresh for this long when it's had no real end goal in sight. Is very impressive writing to me, and I'm really, really happy with what they're doing with the whole Bloodline storyline. Oh, what are you going to say, Cam? No, I'm feeling fine. I've just got a bit of a sore throat. Smoked too many cigarettes today. Don't smoke at home, kids. It's terrible for you. There will be. Oh, yes. Then we got to there was a Bray Wyatt tease, just as usual, flash up on the screen of the Moth logo and everything else, because he was going to be the main event tonight. Then we went to another break. When we came back, we had a Viking Raiders promo. I don't know how long they're going to keep running these promos, because as far as I know, Eric still has a foot injury, so he can't wrestle. So I'm assuming the plan is just to run these promos until he's ready to go, then have them come back and squash some fools, which I'll be happy to see. The tag division needs them. We then went to our second match, which was the Maximum Male Models versus the New Day. This was a relatively quick match. It was a fun match. The models got their shtick in, doing their poses as they usually do, but New Day put them away quite quickly with the Midnight Hour. Kofi got to show off. Xavier got to show off. It was a good, fun match, all helping build the New Day up again, I'm assuming, for their inevitable clash with the Usos to stop the Usos breaking their tag team title record sometime around Survivor Series. But I enjoyed the match for what it was. I've had about 9 cups already today, Cap, and it's 3 a.m. I shouldn't be drinking any more tea. Anyway, where was I? Like I say, it was a good match. Fair bit of back and forth. Models got their stick in. New Day got their stick in. Ended with the Midnight Hour. Very quick. Nicely done. Tidy match. Good timing on all 4 of these guys. Narce as well has improved a lot over the last couple of years. Considering he was awfully put in Retribution where he wasn't allowed to learn a damn thing. This new character seems to have brought out some timing in him and a bit more panache in the way it works, and I appreciate that. We then went from this match to a Sonya Deville promo backstage. She basically, Kayla asked her if she's going to answer Ronda Rousey's open challenge. She says, "Oh, why would I tell you that? It didn't ruin the surprise," even though she was in a suit, so she clearly wasn't going to answer Ronda's open challenge. Ran down Liv Morgan again, then crazy Liv jumps just Sonya, leaps on her, starts beating her down. Pull apart brawl. Everyone gets pulled off one way or the other. Then we cut to another segment. Then we went to another break. Then we came back. We had a Braun Strowman promo where he's basically hyping up his match with Omos. It's going to be a spectacle to see this match, but I don't think it's going to be any good. Let's be honest. Braun Strowman can barely work his way out of a teabag, and Omos, can't work his way out of a teabag. So we're going to have to see what happens with this one. But I feel it's probably going to be a spectacle of disappointment more than anything else. Poor Mason Maxwell. Yeah, well, I think they'll get their time in the sun, but at the moment, I'd say they're on Jobber Street for a considerable future, especially without LA Knight there to be the mouthpiece for them now. They're really lacking something. So we'll have to see how it goes for Mason Maxwell. Well, I appreciate that, Cap. Thanks very much. After the Braun Strowman program, we went to our third match, which was Ronda Rousey's Open Challenge. Ronda comes out looking very smug, lightning bolts for makeup, which was very strange. Looking very smug, comes out, grabs the microphone, cuts a promo just confirming her heel status now, saying how she doesn't do anything for the fans, she doesn't need them, and you know why, because I'm better than you, I've been doing this for years, blah, blah, blah. Just the usual Ronda heel shtick to confirm that she's no longer a babyface and no one should treat her as such, which I'm all behind. She then issues the Open Challenge, says I'm doing it to prove that I'm the best, not for any of you. And who answers it? But returning after nearly 5 years to the day, it'll be the day that she got fired 5 years tomorrow, is Emma, the former Tennille Dashwood. Absolutely fantastic to see Emma back. I was always a fan of her work. She was always saddled with daft gimmicks, but in the ring, she could really go. Like, the girl knows her sport. She understands what her job is in that ring, and that's always appreciated by me. They had a good match. More of a showcase for Ronda than it was a showcase for Emma, I'll admit. But still, Emma got some spots in, which was nice. Good drop kick off the top rope, a couple of other bits and pieces. Ronda, but basically just decimated her towards the end. Did this weird head and arm trap with the knee that Michael Cole called the Ronaconda on the outside, which I'm putting up there as worst named wrestling move of all time. Just food for thought. But yeah, Ronda effectively beat the piss out of Emma towards the end of it, and then just made a tap out in the armbar, and that was it. Then we went to another advert break, which we then came back to a promo announcing the fact that it will be Bianca versus Bayley at Crown Jewel in a last woman standing match, which I'm actually quite excited to see. I know they've done Bianca versus Bayley quite a lot, but I like Bayley's work. I like Bianca's work. I think they've got more to deliver, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm blind as a bat, so I have to bring the comments up on screen to be able to read them. Moving on. We went to a Jey Uso and Paul Heyman segment. Jey was backstage, wanted to talk to Roman. Paul Heyman was like, sometimes it's better to be heard from the wise men. I'll talk to Roman for you. I'll keep the peace. So Jay's like, you got me, you got me. She says, yeah, thanks, you got me. And then Paul's like, oh, God, I can't take this anymore, my heart. And then we cut off from that. We cut away from that to our fourth match, which was Legado del Fantasma versus Hit Row and the mystery partner of Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, honestly, I couldn't have been more disappointed by this match. I love Shinsuke Nakamura, and I don't mind Hit Row. But I'm a massive Legado del Fantasma fan. Those three boys are some of the best workers in the company. Between those ropes, they have timing, they have panache, they have pacing. They don't use any wasted motion. Every single move they use has purpose, even for luchadors. Usually, you can't say that about. And to see them get effectively squashed by Hit Row, and I mean massively squashed, the match couldn't have gone more than 5 minutes, and Hit Row just knocked 7 shades out of them. And then Shinsuke hit the Kinshasa, and they won. That was it. Slightly disappointed. I wanted to see Legado get more of a showcase on the main roster because they are that good. There's something to play. Randomly on nonsense from Monty Python. You can call it interesting booking. I call it terrible booking, but we will see where it goes from there. Triple H, I'm assuming, has a plan. After the Legado del Fantasma match, we went to a fifth break. Then a Ronda Rousey. Actually, no, it was before the match. We went to a fifth break, and then we went to a Ronda Rousey promo backstage where she was talking to Shayna Baszler. Then Natalya came along and started saying, oh, you're lucky because if I'd opened that challenge, I'd be women's champion right now. And Shayna just gripped her, choked her out right then and there, which I'm glad to see. Shayna and Ronda as a team is exactly what I wanted. With Shayna as a hate, with Shayna as Ronda's heater, effectively, I'm absolutely fine with this. Big Shayna Baszler fan. I think she'll help Ronda Rousey to no end. Really glad that they're putting those two together as a team. Couldn't be happier. After that, we had a recap of, what did we have a recap of? Oh, yeah, we had a recap of Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma. Then we went to the match of Legado del Fantasma. Then Hit Row beat the living snot out of Legado del Fantasma in 5 minutes. Shinsuke hit the Kinshasa, as I said, and they won. We then went to another break. When we came back from this, we had a Roman Reigns segment. Roman was in his locker room talking to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman was like, I just need you to watch some footage. Just please, just watch a small amount of footage. And it was shots of Logan Paul training, boxing training. And basically, Paul Paul was trying to big up Logan, saying, he's a threat. One lucky punch, that's all it takes. He's got steel plates in his knuckles from where he broke his hand. Anything could happen. It's one lucky shot. And Roman's basically sat there going, the man's had 2 matches. I'm in God mode. What the hell? Come on. Dream on. He's not going to get a lucky shot in. I'm going to absolutely destroy him. And I really hope Roman does. I am not a Logan Paul fan. I never will be. Sorry, wrong generation. I'm nearly 40 now, and I don't get that boy. I'll give him all the respect in the world for being able to wrestle, because he can actually wrestle. But I don't get him. I'll never be a fan of his. I don't think he can cut a promo. He can talk, but he can't cut a promo. They're 2 entirely different things. And I'll be happy to see Roman smash him like no one has ever been smashed before in the history of smashing. After this, we went to a little LA Knight promo. LA Knight was about to start talking. Yeah. And then he got interrupted by Ricochet. Ricochet basically saying, you do better around here if you didn't act like you were God's gift to SmackDown, blah, 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 blah. Someone's going to put you in your place. And I went, you're right. I am God's gift to SmackDown. Yeah. And then just walked off. Ricochet looks sour. So I'm assuming that's a feud that we're going to get, or at least a match we're going to get in the future. And Ricochet versus LA Knight, I think, should be quite good. I like LA Knight. He's not the best in-ring worker, but he's a purposeful in-ring worker. And Ricochet's Ricochet. So it should be a very entertaining match when it eventually happens. After this, we went to our 5th match. And here's where everything fell off the rails on SmackDown a bit. I'm afraid we had Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss. Now, I usually like to stay positive on this thing. I don't like to detract away from anyone's work, because they all can do what I can't do, so I shouldn't really criticize. But this was not a good match. This was boring for the most part. It was dull. It was plodding. It was 2 men repeating the same sequence of shove, shoulder block, punch, forearm strike for about 5 minutes. And then they tried to slightly pick it up, and in the end, Kross won with a Doomsday Icito and his version of Will Ospreay's hidden blade to the back of the head. He then put Madcap Moss in the cross jacket choke, and one thing that I thought was quite good, because I do enjoy Kross's carry to work, Scarlett then brought up the microphone and he cut a promo on Drew McIntyre while he had Madcap Moss in the cross jacket, basically saying that once Drew's locked in a cage with him, he's screwed. Which I appreciated. I thought that was quite good. It was probably the only highlight of this match, to be perfectly honest. What do we have after this? We then went to Bray. Bray was backstage. He said nothing, just on camera, pacing back and forth. And then we went to our 9th advert break. When we came back, we had an advert for Crown Jewel. And then he went to a Rey Mysterio interview backstage where Rey was talking about how excited he was to challenge for the Intercontinental title again after all these years. He then got jumped by Imperium. Then Walter showed up, screamed something German in his face, ripped Rey's shirt off and gave him a horrendous chop. It was brilliant. I can't wait to see this match. Rey Mysterio tells the David and Goliath story better than any wrestler in the history of professional wrestling. And I don't think there's a more fitting Goliath than Gunther right now for the other side of that tale. I cannot wait to see this match in one or two. I think it's in 2 weeks. It's going to be fantastic. And anyone that thinks they're a wrestling fan needs to make sure they watch this match, because it's going to be awesome. It really is. We then went to the main event, which was a Bray Wyatt promo. Now, I think Bray's been handled perfectly since he came back to WWE. They're feeding him. They're drip feeding him to the fans. They're not over-establishing him. They're not oversaturating him. They're using him just enough to keep people intrigued, to keep people interested. Bray came out, did his usual entrance with the lantern and everything. And I have to say, I absolutely adore Bray's new music. It's eerie and heartful at the same time, which is a perfect description of Bray Wyatt for me. He's eerie, but he's heartfelt. At least the new Bray Wyatt is. And Bray starts to cut a promo about how he's the real Bray. There's no more mask. There's no more smoke and mirrors. It's just a real Bray Wyatt talking to you. It's just you and me. We're on this roller coaster together. And I've done some horrible things to get where I am, but I'm going to do some spectacular things to get where I'm going. And then just as his promo started to kick off, we cut to the Titantron. And the moth appears, and then it cuts off, and then it's the guy with the mask. And then this guy removes the mask to reveal a Wurzel Gummidge-looking man with a fedora, waxed eyebrows out to here, a waxed mustache out to here, calling himself Uncle Howdy, talking about how Bray can never get away from him and he can never forget. I do not know if I like this. I think wrestling needs spooky bollocks. I do. I think that is a necessity in professional wrestling. But I don't know if I like the look of this new character, Mr. Howdy. And I couldn't tell if it was Bo Dallas in makeup, which I've got a feeling it could be. I'm not sure where they're going with this anymore. I thought it was going to be like Bray having a more of a schizophrenic personality where he would switch depending on who his opponent in the feud he was going to be in. But Mr. Howdy appears to be being presented as a real figure that is a controlling aspect of Bray Wyatt, as opposed to a psychological figure that is a controlling aspect of Bray Wyatt. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued because I'm very curious to see where they're going with this whole thing with Bray, because there's a story to be told that I think is going to take quite a while to tell. I thought this was just a fantastic segment, though. Like, Bray is so good on the microphone. He's so legitimate and he's so heartfelt, as I said before, that you hang on every word that he says. And the crazy spooky bollocks that comes afterwards is the strange caveat to the mystery of Bray Wyatt at the moment. And I enjoy it thoroughly. Let's have a look here. Yes, Gunther will be a very believable world champ, and I hope one day he is. Yeah, it was. Good comparison, right? Yeah, they are, but at the same time, they'll get there. Anyway, that was the show. So, guys, thank you for joining me. Again, anyone that joins with this, Brandon, David, it means the world to me that you guys tune in and actually listen to me rant on about SmackDown every week. I thought this show was a 4 out of 5 this week. I was thoroughly entertained. It had good wrestling. It had bad wrestling, but only one match. So I give the show a 4 out of 5 on entertainment value. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I didn't fall asleep during this week's episode, so that's always a good thing. Thank you very much for joining me. Everyone who tunes in, if you appreciate what we do here at WrestleBuddy, if you like the content we put out, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps us out, and it's the only way the YouTube algorithm really knows we exist. So thank you very much, everyone who's tuned in. I will see you next week. Too sweet. Bye.